welcome to another video. Today we will be doing a memory plan in my newly decided memory planner for the week of December 24th through the 30th. So this is the week of Christmas, but I got kind of tired of the Christmas colors and the Christmas kits and whatnot, so I'm focusing on another event this week. This is the kit I will be using to just kind of describe that event. It is the On Trend kit by Planner Choco, and part of the reason this is so long is that I wasn't able to cut the stickers on my silhouette because I need a new cutting mat and the stickers were sliding all over the place. So I will be hand cutting them in this video. What you're seeing there is my pre-planning sheets where I just take notes of every day, just some things that happen so that I can reference them for these spreads. And so the event that I'm going to focus on other than Christmas for this memory planning week is the last 3 days where I was able to go to the bachelorette party for my boyfriend's sister who is going to be getting married later this week. And so we did a lot of stuff. You'll see it in this plan with me. We are going to get started, I believe. I think the only thing I use is the kit, more or less. And so I start by putting down these glitter headers. As you can see there, I cut them with my X-Acto knife and they're kind of messy. Everything on this spread is a little messy. Things aren't exactly the right size all the time. And that is because I did hand cut all of these things. And it was okay. It wasn't that bad. It did take a long time though, but I wanted to emphasize the hand cutting because printable kits are really cheap, and if you can get a printable kit and you have a printer and some sticker paper, it is possible to work with kits even if you don't have a silhouette. And so that's what I'm doing here, is working with this kit without having pre-cut the stickers. And so a few of these things I did before, like I cut the glitter headers off camera, but then most things actually I cut on screen just because I got tired of waiting and like prepping all the cutting. I just figured I'd cut a little, plan a little, cut a little, plan a little, and so that's what I ended up doing. And so I'm alternating the glitter headers. There are 4 different colors, and I just started on the top left on Monday, proto color, and then Tuesday a different color, Wednesday a different color, Thursday a different color, and then started over all the way across, and then did the second and third rows such that they kind of align diagonally. And this took a while. The glitter headers were easy to put on though because they weren't exactly the right size. They were a little bigger because I didn't do a good job of paying attention to cut lines and bleed lines, because I printed this for a silhouette, so there is a little bit of bleed. Because I didn't pay attention to that, the stickers are a little bigger than they should be, and so the header spaces on the Recollections planner match a regular Erin Condren header exactly, and so lining them up is you have to be really careful. Here I was less careful because the glitter headers were a little big, and I partially didn't like the headers in the kit, the date covers, sorry. I also partially just didn't want to have to cut them out. And I have these date covers also from Planning Choco. I think it depends on if you're on her Etsy or her standalone site. But I didn't want to use the headers that came with the kit, date covers, sorry. And so I found these date covers that I had previously cut and printed. And they're not a perfect match, they're a little too bright. This kit had a lot of neutral colors, but I think it's close enough that it works. And then I just write in the days of the week from the 24th through the 30th. And on the left part of most of the boxes, I have drawn a line to kind of give me an idea of where to align stickers, because the Recollections planner doesn't have a space like the Erin Condren planners where there's like a gap between boxes. There's just a single line right in the middle, even though the headers and everything else about the planner is the same size as an Erin Condren. So you kind of have to align things in the middle of the lines of the recollections planner, not against the line, because then you'll be crooked relative to the header. It's weird, but those pencil lines are just to guide me. And so I cut out the bottom washi and making sure that it fits, and now I'm going to put it down. I was a little skeptical about all of the kind of animalish print in this kit, but it came together nicely and I feel like I like it. It's really subtle. It seems like a paint splatter, but the colors make it kind of reminiscent of like leopard print sometimes, and I wasn't sure if I'd like that, but I didn't notice until after I bought and printed the kit, so I just decided to use it, and I think it came out nicely. One thing I like about these kits is that they do have a little extra section of bottom washi for your sidebar, and because this is a highly decorative spread, I really wanted to be able to bring the bottom washi into the sidebar. And here you're seeing the first effects of my ignoring the bleed, because that full box was a little too big and was going over the glitter header, and so I just picked up the glitter header. But then for this full box, I didn't want to do that because it was kind of hard and I was risking ripping the paper, so instead I did my best to trim it down with some scissors. Similarly for this box, same thing. I trimmed down most of the boxes. The last row, is the one closest to the bottom washi, is actually just has a teeny bit more space, and so the boxes weren't, I didn't have to trim them as much down there because they weren't like running into anything. And so I tried to pick my boxes kind of just to remind me of certain events. So Friday I was traveling, so I put that box with the girl and the side bag thing because it looks like someone traveling. And then Friday there were boots because we went to a bar and a show. Sunday there's that cozy sweater because I went back home. Then the girl on Thursday, I just liked her there. Monday and Tuesday, I picked this little scene, two scene boxes with the couch and the cat because I thought that it kind of reminded me of like coziness, and that was kind of the Christmas holiday season with Christmas Eve on Monday and Christmas on Tuesday. And I'm talking and trying to look at this tiny screen on my laptop, and I realized I could be referencing the actual spread, so I'm going to do that while I put down some more of the full boxes. This bag was just pretty, so I just tossed it up in that corner in a way that I thought looked nice. Nothing particularly special about choosing the bag. And then this magazine layout thing of top trends that I put in the sidebar, wasn't really a fan of it, but I didn't know what else to do with it, and I wanted to cover that colored part in the recollection sidebar, so I just put it there. And then I put the laptop at the top in place of like a quote box, and then kind of section this section off with some glitter headers so that I can do some journaling in that section. And I'm referencing my notes so that I can write in this section how just the theme of this week was that I was missing my boyfriend at the beginning because I had been home in Dallas for a while and he was home with his family, and so I hadn't seen him for a bit. Then my flight got delayed, and so that was disappointing because I thought I was going to go see him, and then I had to wait an extra day. But I also had a really awesome time at the bachelorette party, and I was really glad that I was able to make it to that. And so then we're going to start with Monday, and Monday was Christmas Eve, so I used this half box to letter that in because not a lot happened really, and so I just decided why not take up some space and make that holiday-ish, like pre-holiday, kind of the center of focus. And so then beneath that, I'm going to use this girl holding wrapping paper from the Fox and Pip to mark that I stayed up late wrapping presents with my sister. We were up until like 2 a.m. wrapping presents. My mom was up until 2 a.m. putting up the tree and doing some decorating because we just waited until forever. We also had to get some last minute gifts, and Walmart was crazy. There were so many people, and they were closing at 6 p.m. and we were there at like 5:15, and Even as we left at 5:50, people were still trying to get in, and even then, we still forgot a gift. My mom thought that my sister had gotten it. My sister thought that my mom had gotten it. I didn't know it was happening, and we forgot a gift. I put these little shoe deco there to mark that I found the perfect shoes at this Walmart. I don't usually buy a lot of shoes or care for them very much. Like, I need them for my feet. I want them to look nice, but I'm not a connoisseur of shoes. But these were some nice shoes. I really liked them. They were a pair of black heels that weren't too high, so they weren't like crazy uncomfortable, and they were plain enough that they could be like a professional look, but they were still very nice, so they could also be more formal. I really liked them. For Tuesday, I'm using another half box to mark that it was Christmas Day, and I'm drawing this little banner with like what I wanted to be ornaments, but I don't know how that really plays out. And so here I'm writing that I went to one of my aunt's houses for Christmas Day. And I put this three bow checklist to mark who I saw this Christmas, which family members and aunts and uncles, because I feel like I increasingly see fewer and fewer of my family for Christmas, and so I just want to remember who I saw last. And then I put this Fox and Pip girl holding a lot of presents because I thought that it just looked nice and it was Christmas, and this is from a seasonal sampler that I won't get to use for another year, so I wanted to get the most use of them this year. Then I put that little quarter box to mark that we had a really slow morning at my house, and I drew a little sun. And the morning was slow because we were all up so late wrapping presents the night before, and so subsequently we all woke up really late on Christmas Day. And so it took us a while to get up and out, but we finally did. These parts where I'm not doing anything are me thinking you can see me in the camera, and it's me cutting stickers. And so I just wanted to mark that Christmas is when I got my B6 Kiki K from my parents. I told my mom that was what I wanted for Christmas, and she got it for me, and I really love it, and so it was a really nice gift. I also got a lot of watches. My parents, I don't know, they thought I could use some watches, and I don't have a watch, so I guess they were right. And so those were just like the highlights of the gifts I got on Christmas were lots of watches and the B6 Kiki K. For Wednesday, I put down this little rain icon that I designed. Someday I'll get my shop back up and running, but for now it's on vacation mode. But these icons were there, and I just wanted to mark that on Wednesday there was so much rain. It stormed, and that was why there were delays on Thursday, which is when I was supposed to have my flight, and which is why I had to wait a day. So much rain, and we were driving in it. We went to a department store, as I hope you will see shortly. I'm doing some sticker trimming. All of this trimming, and I put down the wrong sticker, but we'll get to that in a second. And I'm just marking that we went to the Sears closing sale. I don't know if they have Sears everywhere, but it's just a department store, and there was one that was closing near my house, so we went to go get some clothes, especially because I am entering the workforce next year and I have no professional attire. And so all the clothes were 70% off, and it was a lot of fun to dig through all the things that had already been pretty ransacked. This store had been closing for a while. And I used this little bow ombre checklist to write some of the things that I got, including 2 dresses, some fancy pants, and some hiking boots, which I hope to be able to use in the snow because they're waterproof, and I don't have any waterproof shoes. But I definitely live in Massachusetts, where it snows quite a bit. Except not this year, which is pretty surprising. I don't know where all the snow is. It rained today when I'm doing this voiceover. And last year that would have been snow. Very strange. Then at the bottom, I'm just marking that this is a day that my boyfriend and I talked on the phone for 2 hours. We usually hit the 1 hour mark, usually go a little over, but we rarely ever get all the way to 2 hours. But we had a lot to say that night, and so I wanted to just mark that down because it's unusual for us to be on the phone for so long. And I wanted a bit more decoration, so I put this little deco piece down. Not really little, it's a pretty big piece. And then I am cutting out some more deco. I believe I should be cutting out some more deco. There it is. It is a little teapot, or not teapot, teacup or tea coffee mug. And I used that to mark that we went to Target really quickly on Wednesday because there were some mugs that I wanted to pick up. And I also had to start packing. I don't know if I wrote that. Maybe I did. Then on Thursday, to take up some space and also just because I like using these stickers, I put those planning feet from the Fox and Pip to mark that Thursday I was able to have some good planning time. I don't really have a good space or supplies at my parents' house to really play with my planner, but I had gotten the Kiki K on Tuesday and I was really excited about it. So I did my best to play around with it and was able to do some stuff on Thursday, which is also when my flight was delayed. I had to get a new flight because otherwise I risked being stuck in Chicago overnight for like 12 hours and I wasn't going to do that. Okay, more like 8. And so I also had to do more packing because I put that off as soon as I knew my flight was delayed. And so I'm cutting out this little appointment arrow thingamajigger to mark that I got 2 hours of sleep this night. I went to bed around 2 o'clock and I woke up at about 4 a.m. so that I could catch my flight. It was interesting, to say the least. And at this point, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I picked up my planner, but there it is again. I'm just doing stuff off camera. Oh my goodness. Okay, I found this little doctor's stethoscope thingy from a Scribble Prints Co. freebie to mark that we had to go to the doctor because my mom had hurt her arm, probably doing some kind of lifting, but it was giving her a lot of trouble, and so we went in just to make sure nothing more serious was going on. I also wanted to mark that that day after we went to the doctor, we went to an Italian place and I had a lasagna that was so good. It was crazy. I mean, I haven't had lasagna in a while, so maybe that was why I felt like this was some kind of godly lasagna, but it was good. I just wanted to put it in my planner because I thought it was amazing. And then for Thursday, Friday. For Friday, I am marking that I was able to fly from Dallas to Providence to meet up with my boyfriend and ultimately drive to the bachelorette party, which was in a cabin somewhere in like the Boston area. And I am cutting out this little movie marquee to mark that we went to a show that evening as part of the bachelorette activities. It was called Shit-Faced Shakespeare. The bachelorette liked it. Her siblings liked it. It was not my style. I didn't like it. My boyfriend didn't like it. It just wasn't our style of humor, I guess. Beneath that, I marked that we went back to the cabin for margaritas. The other siblings of my boyfriend rented a cabin for everyone to kind of stay at because the most of the festivities were taking place a little too far to drive back and forth from all of their homes. And then I am marking that by this time I'd gotten 3 hours of sleep because I slept an extra hour on a plane. And I really thought it would drag me down. I thought I would have a really hard time in the evening and have to leave early and just go to sleep. But that didn't happen. I lasted all night. I was impressed with myself. I put this little shopping cart to mark that I was in a cramped car with my boyfriend and his brother because they had gone shopping for the bachelorette party right before picking me up from the airport in a small sedan. So, the trunk was full and the whole back seat was full, and they had to squeeze me into a small corner and put things on top of people's laps, and it was a time, but we made it. It was also an hour drive, but again, we made it. And I put this little flag thingy to mark that I went to this weird futuristic airport lane. The marketplace was confusing. It was this whole lane. Where did I stop? It was in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. airport. There's this whole lane where you just walk down and you pick up things and you get a receipt, but they don't charge you money. You take your receipts all the way down, do a little kiosk, and you pay there, even though along the whole lane there are lots of different kinds of businesses. It freaked me out. I was really confused for a while. I just walked up and down, lost, for like 10 minutes. On Saturday, I marked that we prepared avocados for avocado toast as part of brunch for the party. And then as a divider, and because I really wanted to be able to use these little bows, I put that navy blue bow divider. And I am cutting out a little arrow to mark that I went to Be Good with my boyfriend and his brother-in-law while some of the other people in the party went outdoor ice skating. It was way too cold, and I didn't bring the right kind of jacket because I didn't know the ice skating was outdoors. So we went to Be Good, which is like a fast food place, but super weird. And by weird, I just mean like organic or all natural or something. I don't know. They don't have them in Texas, so I've never seen it. Or maybe I just never seen it. Anyway, then I used those two glasses to mark that we went to a bar called Back Bar, and it was amazing. I had a drink called the Wakanda, and then told the waitress that I wanted something kind of like that, but just different, but I didn't really know what I wanted. And she brought me back this pineapple drink that had a flaming lime in it. It was crazy. I've never been to a cocktail bar before, and it was a ton of fun. At the bottom, I put a half box to mark the dinner place that we went to, and then a quarter box to mark that I had a really fun time talking with my brother's sister-in-law, not my brother's, my boyfriend's brother's wife, who is his sister-in-law. Anyway, in the half box, I'm marking that we went to a restaurant called Dali, and I had their garlic shrimp and croquettes, and also had another nice talk with my boyfriend's brother-in-law. And it was a good time. I had a good time. I was definitely feeling the cocktail bar at dinner. We went to it right before, and I had 2 drinks, and I usually, don't drink at all. So, and then when I do, I have 1. So that was an interesting time, but it was also fun. And then we went to brunch at my boyfriend's cousin's house, and there he made French toast and bacon pancakes, and I assisted him, sort of. He did most of the stuff. I was just there staring at him and occasionally moving something from one place to another. And I put this little heart there and this car icon to mark that we drove back alone, and that was nice because we'd been around people for days, and my boyfriend and I both are not particularly social, so it was taxing. Not to mention that we hadn't really seen each other for like 10 days before that, and so it was nice to just get to drive back, just the 2 of us. And I also discovered on this drive Nitro Cold Brew from Starbucks. We stopped at a Starbucks, and I don't go to Starbucks, but my boyfriend can't function without some coffee, so we got coffee, and I decided to try this cold brew, and it was so good. I don't know what they do to it. I mean, like, I read the description, like they infuse it with nitrogen or something like that, but it was crazy. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. So I really liked that. I used that flag with the cheetah print kind of pattern on it to mark that we took a long nap afterwards as soon as we got back to his parents' house because we were both exhausted. Then we saw Black Mirror Bandersnatch, and I would give it 3 out of 5 stars. And we had a dinner of spaghetti and chocolate cake, so it was all good. And so now I'm just putting deco up at the top. I am absolutely determined to use all of the deco, so I spent a while cutting it out and placing it at the top. Pretty randomly too. There is no rhyme or reason for why I put the deco where I put it. I just wanted to use it all. It's also important to note probably that the kit I showed you at the beginning, I only showed 2 pages, I think. Maybe 3. Probably 3. And that is not the whole kit. I printed 3 pages. I believe planning Choco's kits come with 4 pages. But the other page was a bunch of headers and little things, which I knew I wouldn't need, so I just didn't print that page at all. And I think this is a relatively new format, and I really like this format because she does keep all the word headers and little things on a separate page, and that means that I don't have to print it if I'm not going to use those, and I don't use them. She has all the things I do use on pages that I find in a configuration that I find most functional. So I really appreciate this new format. My throat is on fire. Oh my gosh. I haven't had enough water to drink today. I should fix that. Yep. I went to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Not during this memory plan with me, but the day that I am filming this voiceover. I'm gonna talk about it while I finish up this deco. It was okay. I expected it to be an amazing masterpiece. I appreciate some of the things that they did. I feel like they did a lot of different things. But the overall actual story was only okay. I wasn't able to vibe with the art style. Or the animation style. I don't know. I found it really jarring to watch. And for a while, my boyfriend and I were both disoriented. The way it's drawn, sometimes it kind of feels like we walked into a 3D movie and nobody gave us glasses. So that's just how it felt, and we were both asking each other we didn't go into the wrong theater, right? This isn't a 3D movie. My boyfriend checked his ticket again and was like, no, we're in theater 4. They told us to go to theater 4. It was really confusing, but it was okay. It wasn't bad. I got a student discount at the movie theater, so I'm not mad about it. And so here I am trimming off the deco at the top, and we are ready to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked what you saw. If you did, comment, like, and or subscribe so that I know. Bye!